Hey everybody, welcome to Do You Believe on Paranormal Zone TV. I want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I have a fabulous show scheduled for tonight for you. And all those who are joining us for the first time, if you would please subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate it. And also please don't forget to give the show a like. Now tonight we have an awesome show. It is the Sedamsville Rectory. And my guests are Dave Spinks and Sean Austin, and it's a pleasure to have them on the show again tonight. Hey guys, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh gosh, it's my pleasure. Now before we start the show, Dave and Sean, I'd like you to tell the viewers a little bit about yourself. So Dave Spinks, would you please start?
Oh yeah, I've been investigating and researching the supernatural for many years. Started as a kid due to an experience I had with my grandfather who passed. And, during my working career, I did as I could when I was off. And then when I retired in 2011, I pursued it full time, and that's when I met Sean. And, people know we've investigated numerous locations together.
Mm-hmm. Sean, would you please tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name's Sean Austin. I've been a paranormal investigator for the last 5 or 6 years now. I've had many experiences. It's been life-changing for me, and every day the chance for something new to experience. I was an investigator on the show The Demon Files, which aired on Destination America, and we're here just to talk about some of our experiences at Sedamsville Rectory tonight, and that's what it's all about here. Just synergistically getting the word out here, making some awareness of the things that can happen, and actually what actually did happen that evening when we went to the rectory.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, Dave also submitted about 9 clips for us to show you tonight, which I'm really excited about, and Dave will explain each one of those clips. Dave, you let me know when you want me to show those clips, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, Dave, you know what? I searched the web for information on this Sedamsville Rectory, and there's little said about it. So, Dave, can you tell us what you know about the Sedamsville Rectory?
Well, that's the interesting thing, Noreen, and that's a great question. There is little to no information on this rectory out there. It's all word of mouth from different folks in the paranormal who have had crazy experiences there. And Sean and I both, had heard about this place, and it was on both of our bucket lists. And, I'll let Sean tell you how we came about going to that place. But, I was intrigued by it due to numerous reports of people being attacked in there and scratched and whatnot. Actually happened one time on a popular paranormal TV show, and we were in the area at another location and that we talked about on your show previously, Bobby Mackey's, when we all went there, and we ended up going to Sedamsville Rectory the next night.
Sean, would you like to tell the viewers a little bit about about the rectory?
I think we briefly talked about it last time. We made a trip out of it. We investigated the Bobby Mackey's, which actually was Dave's. I was my second time. I think that might have been Dave's third time going to Bobby Mackey's. But we kind of made a little package deal and decided to go to another crazy place that's very nearby, which was the rectory. And so we all decided to go there. And my experiences from the rectory started a few nights before we actually headed out, and I flew out to the rectory. Because I have medium-like abilities, I'm sensitive and stuff, and I'm still learning about my abilities, and it seems to happen to me a lot when I'm going to a location that I've never been to before. I seem to get some sort of introduction in a vision or some sort of lucid dream experience of what's going on at that location. And 3 nights before we went to the rectory, I had this very vivid vision/dream that I was in this house, and these little boy spirits were coming up to me, and they're warning me about a demon. And things were floating in the house, and there was banging on the walls. And my friend Phil, who actually came on the trip with us, he looked kind of frightened in this vision. And they were naming this demon EZLBUB, if you it will, that one. And right after that, I remember looking out the window of this house, and I saw this huge black donkey, running around the house constantly, hee-hawing with red glowing eyes.
Oh my!
And then I looked to the left, and I saw this really terrifying-looking black ostrich-like creature that had red eyes, and it just did this loud, like, squawk noise, and then I woke up. So the next morning, I gave my buddy Phil, who's coming on the trip with me, a call. I'm like, I had this really weird dream, dude. You were in my dream last night. And I was like, yeah, I was in his house and yada yada. He's like, that's really strange because I actually had a dream that I was in a house with you last night as well, which I thought was pretty, interesting. And obviously for me, when it comes to, spiritual experiences, it's all about synchronicities. And because of the spirit realm having no time conception, past, present, future is all the same thing. So things connect very easily when you get involved with the paranormal overall. So we went out on our trip. We went to Bobby Mackey's and we discussed what actually happened there while we were there. And then, when we got to the house, we took a little walk around. I noted that this was the house that I had a dream in. I really just noticed my surroundings, like literally in the first floor living room. I took a look around, like it was identical to my dream. And then the things started to happen right away. We started getting crazy responses on the spirit box, including that demon's name. I know Dave and I were kind of, going in different rooms. He had his camera. I was using my phone, doing a mobile app live stream as well. And it kept on saying that demon's name. And a little boy spirit started coming through and saying, help me and stuff like that. And Dave can probably, pick up at least for part of it now. When we first got there, things started to happen pretty quickly. Right, Dave?
Yeah. Some more history, on the rectory. Sedamsville is a little outcropping in Cincinnati. The actual church and stuff was built in the late 1800s. The only thing I could find of any significance as far as a death was a guy that was responsible for that area when it was first developed. He was struck and killed by a train right near the rectory. That's the only thing I could find anywhere doing research on this place. Now, we all know that, in the early 2000s, there was a huge uproar in the Catholic Church as far as priests coming out molesting boys. And I found that really interesting because Sean was having all these premonitions of these young boys communicating with him, saying they were being hurt and whatnot, and he was getting, demonic references. And I've worked with him enough now to know that when he has those type of situations going on, there's something to it. And, what was uncanny about when we first started the investigation is we started getting references from this little boy right away, just like Sean said a few minutes ago. And the boy was kept referring to he was hurt. And at one point, Sean asked him, "Did you die here, little boy?" And he says, "No," but then he says, "Hurt me." So, those kind of synchronicity things is what we look for when we're doing these investigations. There's no factual information that anything of that sort happened there, but when we're doing our thing, we find that very compelling. Because Sean was talking about this stuff days before we even went there.
Yeah.
And there's all these rumor mill, through the grapevine and such that kind of thing may have occurred there at one time. And I found it really interesting that in Cincinnati alone, there was numerous reports of child molestation through the Catholic Church by priests. Many claims have come out, over the years, and that's right in the area we were at. So we can't say for sure that occurred there, but it's very interesting to say the least. Mm-hmm. So, and in my view, and I'm sure it's Sean's to some extent too, is that what better way for an evil entity or a demonic presence, demonic force, whatever you want to call it, to infiltrate a trusting person as a priest and to take advantage of innocent little children. Mm-hmm. To me, that's one of the most evil type of things that there can be done to any child. So, and as you'll see, further into the show, some of the stuff we got is very, very nasty at that location.
You talk about.
Oh, go ahead. I just wanted to ask you, when you entered the rectory, what was your feeling? Did you feel that there was a demonic presence that was heavy in negativity?
I definitely did, and that's a part of my ability too. If there's something evil in the house, like I immediately, my whole body reacts to it. It's like an organic antenna, if you will. And obviously, like, you know, I'm still learning about it, but yes, absolutely. And it was strange because really strange. It was almost like deja vu, like recognizing my vision, my dream, to the place in that room. I just remember looking out the one window in that one living room where we were, Dave, and then just looking up at the stairs, just looking at my surroundings. That was exactly the place that vision took place in. And I remember looking out that same window, and it was the same scenario. And like I said, the boy was coming through and saying all this stuff. And I even remember, you know, I was recording, and I have this on my videos as well, because I know I was walking in different rooms from Dave where he was filming. I remember this one point, this little boy spirit, and said, like, it said, like, the word hero, like, once or twice. And I'm like, hero? What do you mean? Who's a hero? And it goes, you are. and I'm like, you know, what does that really mean? And we were sitting in the room, and it was saying nasty stuff to the spirit box. And I remember someone telepathically in my head referring to something about my pendant to St. Michael, which I have, St. Michael's been blessed by a priest where St. Michael's stepping on a demon, and so forth. And I'm like, why, you know, I remember saying something like, why are you referring to my pendant? Are you trying to do something to me? And that's when my friend Phil had actually walked into the room, and he's like, you know what, I just felt a little pinch on my back. And then,
we'll show that on the clips when we go through the clips, Sean.
Mm-hmm. Now, okay. I remember seeing this on a live show that Dave was doing, and Dave was upstairs, and Sean, you had gone downstairs. So you were investigating a location that Dave wasn't at. So maybe later you can tell us your experiences in the basement.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
At what point, Dave, do you want Sean to talk about the basement?
He can do that now if he wants. Okay. Because we didn't have don't have any footage on that area. So go ahead and tell him about that, man.
Yeah, I mean, we went down there and sat down there. We were hearing some strange noises. I remember hearing like a moan. It almost sounded like a dog whining. And obviously what actually allegedly happened down there, was kind of interesting. I definitely felt a lot of heaviness. We didn't really get, I don't really remember, like there was some weird response that actually happened down there. But overall for me, like what actually happened towards, with my friend Phil, and later on the night was really what was, blew me away and connected my vision, and actually what ended up happening to me weeks after I came home from the rectory as well.
God.
I want you to tell them about that, dude, when after we show all the clips, and tell them about what was going on with you after that,
Yeah.
For so long.
No.
Seriously, I got chills just thinking about it, to be honest with you.
Now, Dave, did you tell them with the history that there was also they had dogs in that house? Did you tell them about that?
At some point they had, they were doing dog fighting in the basement and keeping dogs in there, and that type of deal. And those dogs aren't treated very well, and it's just more bad energy, in that location, animals feel that energy too, and when they're treated poorly, that energy stains a location, just like people's energy.
And it adds to whatever else kind of history that happened on the place, so it's kind of like becomes like a layered cake of spiritual dysfunction, years after years of dogs being, mutilated, from dog fighting and potential molestation and all this negativity, and then talk about, the perfect mockery to the Holy Trinity. And that's what demonic things look for. We obviously know what they like to do. They like to mock the Holy Trinity and think about a man that's supposed to be dedicating his life to God, and then he's doing something negative, and then you take the most innocent creature of us all, is a child. It's, obviously the ultimate mockery to God in such a perfect, terrible, horrific scenario.
Dave, was there one priest that that said that he did molest children there? Was there one that confessed to
Yeah,
that?
yeah, he was under the Cincinnati Archdiocese, but it did not connect him directly to Sedamsville Rectory or that church. It was another one that was attached to it, but, you know, yeah, he came out and apologized, and they can't even prosecute him because the statute of limitations is over. It was over 40 years ago. And other people, since he has come out and said he did that, numerous other children that were altar boys and such have come out and said, yeah, he did do that to me also. So, you know, that's just disgusting and just a real tragedy that nothing can even happen. The worst that's going to happen to him is he's going to be defrocked. I mean, that's the only thing that's going to happen to the guy. Other than he's probably going to burn in hell, but, you know, whatever. That's neither here or there, but, you know, it's just a sad situation, and something big had to happen there for the negative energy that's in this place. Not just animal fighting. It's got to be a lot more than that to me.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more. I think there's a lot more to the story than any of us know. I think we're getting little bits and pieces of it. I mean, I think it's a lot deeper than we consider it to be.
Well, Sean, with
Yeah,
you... I'm sorry.
Interesting point, too, Noreen, that we haven't said yet is that, you know, Sedamsville, the owners, the current owners, have ceased all paranormal investigations there as of September 10th of this month. And due to the activity being so negative that they are bringing in the archdiocese to bless and cleanse the place, you know, and also I heard that, didn't you tell me this, Sean, that they, some people did some ritualistic bloodletting in there or something?
Oh my God.
I think I heard it from Weatherly. Yeah, a group had gone in there to investigate, and they actually did some animal sacrifices recently in the location. Can you imagine the activity is already so nasty, and adding that on top of it? I mean, the activity there is just off the chain. So they're done with the paranormal groups, from what I can understand.
Oh my God, I can't believe that they did that. Geez, I had a question for you and I forgot what it was. I'm sorry. Just continue. I forgot what my question was. So maybe I'll think about it.
I'll go ahead and start from when we first walked in the building, and then we can just, you know, ad-lib it and go with it as we go. But we walked in the building and we decided to do a walk around. And I think we went up to the attic first, didn't we, Sean? Right away,
Yeah.
We were up in the attic pretty quick. For whatever reason, we were just walking around checking the place out, and all of a sudden I felt a burning right here on my face. And lo and behold, I told those guys, I said, hey man, something touched my face. They got the flashlights, and I had about an inch long, inch and a half long scratch on my face.
Yeah, I'm
Man,
sure.
we were only in there for 10, 15 minutes, and I already got scratched, you know, and we're like, oh man, here we go. And that validated, you know, what many other folks have said, that they've been scratched in that location. So, you know, that's how it all started when we got in the place. And I think you have a picture of that.
I did. I just showed it to the viewers.
Okay. And so, you know, we finished setting up our equipment. We went down and we started in, I would call it a living room type area. You know, had a couch, a couple couches, a coffee table and whatnot, and this piano that's in there that's supposed to play. So you can go ahead and show them clip one. And clip one, I started off by asking, are there any priests in here with us? And then you can play the video and show them what it said.
Okay.
The response was.
All right, here we go.
Are there any priests in here with us?
No.
What happened?
I think occupation just occurred. We may be
Yes.
crashing.
Houston, we have a problem.
You gotta love technology.
Yeah.
No, it's back up, Noreen.
Are we back up?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Same people and everything?
Yep.
All right.
back on.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know, Dave. I don't know how it's going to work now. Viewers, did you see the clip 1? Were you able to?
It just started playing and then it stopped because I was watching it on my feed over here.
Well, I could try it again, but I could try it again, but I don't know.
Oh, we won't know unless you try it.
All right.
That's the problem.
I'll try it again.
Are there any priests in there with us?
Diocese, and they aren't scheduled to do anything, so that's kind of weird.
All right.
Let's see. Yes.
Alright, it's 30 seconds away, so I'll have to see if it comes up. Alright, here it goes.
It already showed and went back.
Yep, that's good. Alright, yeah, so I asked if, are there any priests here? The response was yes, and then a small delay, and then Richard. I couldn't tie any names to the place named Richard. There was one guy who had a middle name that started with R, but like I said, the church is very secretive on names and all that stuff. I mean, it's snowball's chance to find information on the church, man. That's the way it is. So that was the beginning when we started getting some really good direct responses. Clip number 2, you go ahead and that one. We had asked who scratched me, or I asked who scratched me, and a direct response of he did.
All right.
You'll see it.
Okay, I'll play that now. Keep your fingers crossed.
Who scratched me upstairs? He did.
Yeah, I heard that.
Who's he?
Shit.
Okay.
Who scratched me upstairs?
Alright.
He
Number
did.
3.
Yeah, I heard that.
Who's he?
Sorry, I'm refreshing my memory because we gave so many clips. Number 3, Sean and Phil were standing there and they were asking questions, and it tells them to go upstairs, and then it says kill, and yes, it responds to their questions. So you'll just play that one and they'll see what I'm talking about.
All right. I'm getting some kind of a feedback from your end. All right, hold on.
Who scratched Dave? Comes. Did you say come upstairs? That's where it happened. That's where it happened. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, that's direct responses, guys, to what they're talking about. And that's what we look for, I mean, Sean's asking the questions and it's telling him to go upstairs. And he says, and he's saying, it's telling him, yes, go upstairs, because he just asked, who scratched me and everything. And it's almost like this growly voice is saying, go upstairs and you'll find out what's going to happen again.
Wow.
It's really spooky. I mean, the next clip, same thing, Sean and Phil standing there. And Phil, Phil is, what is he, he's a couple years in investigating Sean?
Yeah, just a couple, 2-3 years at most. 2 years probably.
Yep.
All right, so I'll play clip 4.
Yeah, go ahead and play clip 4. They'll know.
Is there something evil that resides in this rectory? Who's the spirit that scratches everybody in here? A ghost. It's a ghost. It's a ghost. Well, who's the ghost? Is it an evil man? Who is it? You want to know who it is? Yo, a little boy just came across this and said, "Father." Yeah. That's creepy.
That's fine.
Okay, it played.
Let me know. Okay, so what's starting to happen here is Sean and Phil are making contact with this little boy, and it's the same voice. If you really listen, it's the same child voice talking to them on the spirit box. Go ahead and play clip 6.
Okay.
It's Sean, and then I bring in a device and I set on the piano, and as I walk away, the device goes off, and you'll hear a little boy still communicating with Sean.
Okay, I'm playing it now.
What's your name, little boy?
Oh, look, took a hit, bro. Took a hit on the piano.
Are you by the piano? Can you hit one of the notes for us?
No.
No.
Those are for the little kids.
I
They're
see you
toys.
floating around the piano. I just saw a flash of light.
Okay.
Here we go. Is it over?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was very compelling there. If you paid attention to what it says, it's answering Sean, and he asked if the little boy can touch the device I set there again, and he says, "No, I'm afraid of it."
Wow.
I mean, that's a direct response, you know. I mean, and that would be like a child. He doesn't know what that is, and he's scared of it, you know. So that's the kind of stuff we look for. You know, I find that compelling.
Yeah, I'll see.
Go ahead and the next one. Go ahead and play the next one.
Oh, is that's 7? Next one is 7?
Yeah.
All right, 7.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
Still communicating with the little boy.
Did you die here, little boy? Same voice.
Yeah.
Same
No.
exact voice. What was your name? Oh, it's the same voice again.
Okay, 7's finished.
Okay, and you notice it kept saying, "Hurt me, no, hurt me."
Yeah.
I mean, just creepy stuff, you know. Let me refresh my memory real quick on this one. Yeah, still Sean at the piano communicating, and it starts getting really negative now. So apparently something didn't like this. What the way I take this is something did not like us communicating with this child spirit.
Okay, gonna
So you
play.
can go ahead and play it out.
Okay.
And you'll hear what it says.
Okay.
And it said this same response numerous times. I just, we're limited on time, so we can't cut out every single thing and play it.
All right, I'm gonna play it now.
Whoever attacks everybody in this house, why do you attack everyone in this house?
There you go. Oh, get on there, Phil. There you go.
Yeah, that was just a fast.
That was the
That's when it
last
started.
one.
All right, Sean, go ahead and walk them into when Phil came in the room and the whole scenario when that happened to his back. Then we'll
Okay.
play clip 9. Sean's done talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were in that little living room right at the front part of the first floor, main floor of the rectory, and we were playing with this spirit box, getting crazy responses, and I actually heard in my head someone talking about my pendant, like I said recently, just prior, and I was like, I thought they were trying to say like they're trying to do something, maybe it's protecting me from someone, and then all of a sudden Phil walks in the room, and he's like, I feel a pinch on my back, and I'm like, really? And then like we pulled up his shirt and we're looking at it. At first it was like I saw the red mark. I'm like, oh my god, you got scratched. But then all of a sudden, like, I started to look at it again. I could see another line appearing, and I'm like, at first I thought it was an X, and then I looked at it, clearer as it started to become more pronounced, and I'm like blown away that it was literally an upside down cross.
Oh my God.
Considering where we were, that type of location, I thought that was pretty profound.
That should not happen in a place of God. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And you'll notice, Noreen, when you play this next clip, as we are trying to get pictures and show on camera what's on Phil's back, you're going to hear the spirit box getting more negative and more negative by the second, telling us to get out. It's saying blood and cross and all kinds of stuff. So you can go ahead. It's a 1.5-minute long clip, so it's going to be a little while. So you can go ahead and play it and let them, see what happened right there.
Okay. All right, I'm going to play it now.
Yeah, I can see too much right now. Other than feeling something on my back. What? His back, see if he's got a scratch. Where? Are you trying to scratch Phil?
Does it feel like burning?
Not really burning, like a pinch. Apparently everything's going nuts right now.
All right, Phil got scratched, guys. Go ahead, Phil.
I can't lift up that high.
Here, come over here. Hold that up so I can put it on camera. Yeah. Right there.
It's hard to see on the.
All right, take the light off of it. Take the light off. Now you can see
It looks
it.
like an X.
Back up a little bit,
There's
Phil.
like an X
Back
there.
up a little bit. Right there.
It looks like an X.
Now turn to your right just a little bit. Your right.
It's a cross. It's an upside down cross.
No, it's not.
Dude, it is. Look. It goes
Oh,
here.
it is.
It's upside down
Holy
cross.
shit, dude.
It's an upside down cross.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Holy
There's a cross on the box just now.
dude,
It
it's
is.
an upside down
It's
fucking
forming
cross.
an upside down cross, dude.
Holy
How are you feeling personally? Great.
There's no way you could have done that. I mean, that's straight up because look how
thank
high.
you for the
And it's almost perfect.
information moments. It's an upside down cross. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Blood. It just said blood.
Let's see if I can get it.
Listen to what the box is saying too. It's confirming it.
Evil again.
Okay. That clip just finished.
Okay, so that was very, that's a pretty compelling thing there, and after all that took place, of course, the video that we shot there was live for over 3.5 hours, almost 4 hours long. We were all throughout the house. REM pods were going off on the stairwells. We were hearing numerous thumps and bangs throughout the house. I think didn't you guys heard like a disembodied bark or something at one point in the basement, right, Sean?
Yeah, it sounded like a dog, like whimpering, and something
Aw.
dog-like.
Poor thing.
Yeah, and then toward the end, there's tons of other stuff we got, but I just wanted to show people how it started out. We were talking to some child spirit, and it just progressively got worse and got really nasty, and then all of a sudden, Bill gets an upside down cross scratch on his back, and I was blown away by that. That was very compelling, and we moved upstairs, and I went off in the one bedroom, and Sean and the Beast, the guy they call LA Beast, was with us. He financed that whole trip for us. Thanks, Beast, by the way, if you're watching. And Phil, they went into another room, and they were doing a session, and I was doing a session. And I'll tell them about mine, and you can tell them what you guys are getting over there. I was in that room. It was one of the head priest's room, and I was just setting up, doing a spirit box and stuff, and the curtains over on the left side of the wall, I heard what sounded like this growling coming out of the heat vent, man. It was freaking me out. And I saw the curtains move several times by themselves, and just this weird growly thing coming. I don't know if it was coming from the basement up through the vents or coming from the attic down through the vents. I'm not sure, but it was really unnerving in there, and got a lot of crazy responses on the ghost box in that room. And at the same time, Sean and the other two guys were in that other room across the hall from me. So you can tell them what you got over there if you want, man.
we started to experiment with the flashlight ITC, and actually, we started to respond to us, and it said, are you the? We were asking like, are you the priest? Did you molest these children? And it was saying yes and yes, and I'm like, I was like, do you regret for what you did? And it said no. And I'm like, if there's any children's spirits here, you don't have the right to have them trapped here, because, obviously I'm thinking about the vision I had and thinking about, I don't know how, any children's spirits could be there, but, I just follow the lead of my experiences, and if, obviously, I walk into a haunted location and I psychically pick up on stuff. If there's spirits that were once human that are trapped and are looking for help, and if I'm investigating a location, I think that's the least I could do is maybe say a prayer for them. Because I put myself in their shoes. Imagine if, especially a child, if that is the case, being stuck in some sort of negative dimension with evil spirits, not letting them cross over. And it's funny because that scenario, really got me into the paranormal from the beginning. So it's kind of like the same scenario again to me. And so I always visualize that again, potentially. And we were sitting in there, and I was like, I was going to say a prayer for these kids. If there's any kid spirits here, I'm going to say a prayer for them. And I had the spirit box on for like a half hour. And it was responding back and forth with me, the ITC. And my whole body, I felt this negative presence, like, on me, like, in that one room across from the bedroom where Dave was actually, and it was profoundly bad, like this terrible, like, panic attack, negativity, heaviness that came over me while I was using the spirit box. And it wasn't saying a word, but the flashlight was responding to our questions and saying how he had no regret. And it's funny because in one of the responses, like, on the flashlight ITC was saying that, some of these kids were murdered, and I just, I don't know, it's just speculative. We can only speculate because we really don't know the history of what actually happened there, but we do know that, kids at least have been molested there, but, why would there be kid spirits there? Maybe there's more to it that we don't know, but, I always, like I said, pick up the leads of why am I picking up that there are kid spirits there. Obviously some people think, oh, well, maybe it's just a demonic spirit, pretending to be a child, but, my intent is to try to help a spirit out. If I feel like there's a spirit, in need, I'm going to say a prayer for them. So that's what I did. I sat there on the couch and I said a prayer for these kids, spirits, if there are any, to help them find the light. And I just imagined a white light to come down, and I prayed that they would find this light and go towards it. And I had the spirit box on for like a half hour. There was not one word that came out of this spirit box. Not one word. And after I said a prayer and I did this visual thing of this white light coming down, I asked, and I have this on video, I was like, can you give me some sort of confirmation that some of these prayers might have helped some of these kid spirits that may be here to find peace? And right after that, on the spirit box, this voice came over this so clear, and it said, they are free. And I was, that just blew me away, and that feels really good if I did that. Obviously my intent was to do so, but we can only speculate if that's truly what happened.
My goodness, they are free. Did you ask how many child spirits were in that rectory with you at that time?
You know what? I never think I asked how many there are. I was just thinking if there are any kid spirits here, I wanted to pray for any of them. If there are any innocent children spirits, I want to pray for any innocent souls that want to find peace and accept unconditional love and forgiveness from God for whatever the reason that they died, whether there's guilt or if they're just trapped or whatever the reason is. We all deserve a second chance, and God's, He's the most unconditional, loving, and forgiving soul. We are His children, or we are a creation of what He is. So we just have to find the light in our normal physical daily life. But these poor souls that are trapped in some sort of purgatory in between land, where they could be consumed or trapped by negative spirits that are can't find accountability for what they may have done in their physical life. So they want to trap souls, to create the environment and habitat that they want, in this negative scenario. And that's just what I did. I tried to say a prayer for these kids, and to get that response, that was pretty crazy. But I mean, that was towards the end of the night. That was around like 3:30 in the morning, I think, Dave, right? And started to, that was the end of the night, and I experienced stuff when we came home. But I don't know if you want to say anything more that actually happened.
Why I want
When
to.
John was doing that, I was in the other room, so I didn't know all that was going on. But when we kind of cross-checked each other's times after the investigation, he was telling me what was going. He told me what was happening. Right around the same time he was doing that, he was really pissing something off, because that's when all the crazy stuff started happening in the room I was in. So it was pretty creepy. One creepy location for sure, and it's a shame that they're supposedly ceasing all paranormal investigations there, but they got to do what they feel that what they got to do, and maybe if they do get a blessing of some sort or a cleansing or whatever, maybe it'll help release any more spirits that are trapped there and get rid of any negative things that are in there.
Well, wasn't there an exorcism done on that rectory?
I'm not sure. Not sure.
Oh, I thought there was an exorcism done. And Sean, when you were trying to connect with any demonic negativity in that house, was there more than one demonic entity in that house, in that rectory?
I think there's definitely more than one. I mean, I think about my vision at the beginning with the donkey thing and the ostrich thing, and then if you know anything about demonology and then demonic spirits, they associate with certain animals and stuff like that. When I was there, I definitely felt there was a diversified amount of negative energies, potentially more than one demonic entity, and probably more than one negative human spirit that was very evil as well. So you have a combination of those things, and who knows what they're up to and what's going on, just swirling around in this perfect storm of a mockery of God in a place that was once a rectory. So it's like a playground to these things.
Well, with that one...
Tell them about what happened to you after, man.
Yeah, so we came home, and I think the first night I slept back in my bed in this room. I woke up and I saw a shadow dart around my bed, came out of my doorway, and I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And I was so freaking tired because from the trip and then flying back and all that stuff like that, and I dozed off. I was dozing off, and I literally heard this man scream in my ear. Scream in my ear. You son of a bitch. You took the children away from me. You took them. I got chills just talking about it again. And let me tell you, this happened for quite a few weeks after I came home. Screaming in my ear, threatening me and trying to attack me in my bed, telling me that you're going to pay for taking those children. And I'd hear it in my head, the children, you took them. Yeah. And I heard his actual voice screaming in my ear many times.
Did you try and communicate with that negative spirit to find out who it was?
It's my bedroom. I try to just okay, I'm hearing that crap in my bedroom, so I'm taking a super soaker full of holy water and I'm trying to hose down my bedroom so I can sleep at night.
That's not a story. It's not the first time that's happened to him. We were at another location and he cleared some stuff and he caught hell for a few months after that one as well.
That was amazing too, and I actually have that on my phone from Streamlive. But you actually lost the evidence because we went to another place in Ohio, and another place where I picked up psychically where these women were tortured and raped by this evil man, and we were staying at this cottage across the street from the location, and we didn't even know if they just said, oh, things were happening across the street, but where we were actually investigating was used to be a brothel and all that stuff. Obviously, brothels are typically haunted and stuff like that with the history and stuff. But we'd asked them the next day, the owners, and they said, we don't like to talk about it that much, but a lot of the prostitutes were having illegal abortions, and there was this evil doctor or something like that, and I think think there was a connection with something that was some sort of Freemason connection or something, where this evil man had tortured, these women sexually and mutilated them and killed them in this basement where we were staying. And we were there for like 3 nights, I think. And I remember just one night, it was so crazy. I was sitting on the couch and you were filming, Dave, and you had the SB11 right on top of the fireplace, and I had my spirit box in my hand. I was filming, and this thing just came right over the freaking fireplace. Come over here! Like, screamed right through the spirit box, and I stood right up to it, and I said, you know what? I'm not scared of you. My faith is stronger than you. And I'm like, if you have some of these women trapped here that you tortured and killed, then, they deserve to find peace too. And I was holding my spirit box, and the SB11's on the fireplace, and I sat there, and I said a prayer for these women. Mm-hmm. Same thing. I imagined a white light coming down, and I said, please, God and angels, let these women find peace. And I'm like, can you give me some sort of confirmation that these women found peace? And this was crazy because I had my spirit box in my hand, and the SB11 was on the fireplace, and you literally hear a woman come through this spirit box and say, thank you. And the other one was like, thank you. And like another woman, there was 2 thank yous that came through 2 different spirit boxes, and that shit was on film. And I got this flash in my head of a white dove, and to me it was like, I think I helped these women cross over. And when I came home, I had actually stayed in a hotel. I stayed an extra day when we were at this place, and actually it was the most terrifying face that I've ever seen in my life to this day. It was back November. I was in my hotel room, because I remember that night I was telling you, Dave, after we left, this man was saying over and over again in my head, you have hell to pay, over and over, because he's like, taking the women from him. And I stayed at this hotel the night after we left the location. I was still in Ohio because a friend of mine was by. I stayed the weekend. And I got this flash of the scariest face I've ever seen. It was red face, yellow eyes, and black horns. And it had this stare that was like downward and stare. It stared into my soul. It was the most unsettling feeling that I've ever felt. I woke up and threw holy water over my hotel room. But again, I came home, and for weeks, and this spirit is still around me. It screams, "Hell, you have hell to pay." And I've actually had one of the women, I think, that I actually freed from that property. She actually projected onto me, and I actually saw shackles and things that she was tortured with. But this man has come through on the spirit box too on another investigation. I was around here, and I have it on video too. And he said that you took 2 women away from me. He's like, you'll pay. Oh. Same shit. Same crazy.
My God.
Yeah. And you step in the way of evil, you're always a target. But if I truly was able to help a soul find peace or cross over or whatever, I feel like I'm doing the right thing. If you saw a woman or a child on the side of the street and they were injured, I certainly wouldn't drive by. I would try to help them and save their lives. And I feel the same way when it comes to their souls, their spirits, because that could be us. We could be in that same scenario. We could have died tragically and ended up in this scenario, stuck in this dimension. We're consumed with guilt or negativity or whatever the reason, and something could be trapping us with them. And I think that's really, it's kind of like the golden rule. Love others the way you want to be loved, and it's just like, I want to help, and especially being a paranormal investigator, I feel like that's part of my mission, really. If spirits want help, I'm going to say a prayer for them. If I piss off some evil spirits, I feel like I'm doing my job, really.
Hey, Sean, in your past paranormal investigations, have you ever gone to a location where somebody had committed suicide and you felt that they were trapped and try to communicate with them?
Yeah, it's actually what started my whole paranormal story ever. It's literally right smack right at the beginning. When I first got involved in paranormal, I started going to cemeteries and getting EVPs and getting excited about these responses that were just mind-blowing and changing my life, very quickly with my experiences that started to pile on really quickly. But as soon as this was happening, I would drive by this house in my town that had 3 tragic murders attached to it. They even made a Lifetime movie about this house because of the murder. It was so famous. And what happened was the mother was bludgeoned to death by her husband New Year's Eve, and the daughter came home and found the mom bludgeoned to death. She ended up dying a couple of days later, but the husband, who was her stepfather, who killed her, he went to this bridge and jumped off the bridge and killed himself right after that. And then the daughter, years later, never got over the death, the same age that her stepfather was when he killed himself and killed the mother. She went, jumped off the same bridge and had a note said, "Mom, I'm coming to look for you." So when I drove by this house every time, with my friend who was getting involved with paranormal with me, just starting and getting interested in it, I was like, that place has to be haunted. It has to be. There's 3 terribly tragic deaths associated with that property. So we sat in my car, and this property actually has a side stairs that's almost like the front of the property, but it's really the side. And we sat in my car. We not even got out of the car. And I was like, is there anyone here who wants to say something? Is there anyone here that's still on this property that died? And the first EVP we got was this female voice that said, "Killed my mother is what killed me too." And then we got a EVP of his stepfather, clear as day, like he was in the car with us, and helped me in a blood-curdling scream. And obviously this was the scenario that was going on in my head, because earlier on I used to watch those documentaries about haunting and all this stuff. You would see stories of, say, for example, a psychic walking into a house and they're experiencing all this crazy stuff, and the psychic medium picks up that a husband might have killed his whole family and killed himself, and he doesn't want the family to cross over because he doesn't want to be accountable for his own mistakes, so he wants to trap them and keep them there in his own dark world. And that scenario kind of popped up in my head. So my dad, being real religious, I took some of his holy water, and one night at midnight I went over to that property on the side of the house and I threw holy water. I said, "In the name of Jesus Christ, if there's any evil spirits or the stepfather trapping the daughter or the mother here, let them go." And that was kind of the beginning of my story. And I had the spirit of the daughter who followed me around for 2 months, saying that you freed me from my stepfather's hell. Follow me around. And I had some crazy stuff happening. But that's also, that's religious provocation. And it also led into me being drawn to dark cases and dark things. And I started reading books about, Ed and Lorraine Warren, like the demonologist, and John Zaffis's book, and then ultimately Ralph Sarchi's book. And I ended up, working with him. And it just kind of connects everything.
Do any of you feel that in that rectory that one of the priests may have committed suicide? Did you get any of that kind of a feeling?
I didn't get any suicide. I just picked up on like kid spirits and evil being there, and evil men, like evil human spirits, demonic-like spirits, and potentially kid spirits. And obviously a lot of people say like, oh, the kid spirits could be demonic, but if it's demonic, why is there some man coming and screaming in my ear, threatening me, telling me, "Why did you son of a bitch, you took those kids?" And to me, it's just like, I don't think that was demonic. I mean, it was literally pissed off, and I psychically heard it. Like, I dealt with it, I experienced it, and to me, that just kind of brings some validity to what I did experience. And there was kid spirits to me there for whatever the reason, I don't know, but the evidence and the experiences, stacked up to me and proved that notion to me personally.
The kids, Dave, were they altar boys that worked with these priests?
Most of the time in those cases, they were helpers of the priests in the church and altar boys and such like that were, that would come out years later and say, yeah, they were molested and whatnot. If you guys, anyone wants to watch that whole video, you can go on over to my channel, Real Supernatural, and you can see the entire video of all the responses and stuff. They're not annotated. You can see it as it happened live, just like when we were live. I did not annotate anything on it. So, like I said, it's almost a 4-hour long video that we got on film there, and it's really compelling. I mean, we communicated with several children spirits, in my personal opinion. I'm sure Sean will agree, like you just said, and there was something really, more than one thing, in my opinion, really nasty there. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was nasty. I got scratched, Bill got scratched on his back, and if you compile all the things we got and all the direct, relevant responses to the questions we were asking, I mean, to me, it's undeniable what we got there,
When you finished your investigation at that rectory, how did you guys feel?
I was totally drained. I mean, my energy was zapped big time. I felt really, really tired. And a lot of times, you know, I've been doing this for a long time. When you go into these really negative locations, they literally suck your life force from you, spiritually, mentally, and physically. I mean, it's unless you've actually done it, it's really hard to explain. But you imagine being the most tired as you've ever been in your life times 10. You know, I mean, your body is weak, your mental capacity is weak, and, you know, you just feel so freaking drained, it's unbelievable.
That's because these negative energies, they're so desperate for our energy. And when we walk into their lair, we're kind of using our free will, and they're able to take our energy from our equipment and from us spiritually, physically, and emotionally. And we're putting that intent to really involve ourselves and communicate. And it's just it's like the two worlds drawing from each other in different ways. And yeah, it's a different type of tired. It's like you're just, you know, floating. You're like a feather after investigating. It's exhausting in every single aspect possible.
Let me ask the viewers if they have any questions. Royce, does anybody have any questions that you can send to me?
I would like to say, while we're waiting for questions, if there's any, you know, folks, don't take this stuff lightly. If you're just now thinking about getting into the paranormal and investigating, speaking to you from personal experiences I've had, this stuff is no joke. I mean, there's some stuff out there that, you know, the old adage that says, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. Well, let me tell you, you'll get it eventually, one way or another, and you're not going to like it.
Well, Dave, can you imagine if a group that recently formed had no experience whatsoever, but just think about having fun, and they go into that rectory, what could have possibly happened to them?
Well, it could happen anywhere, you know. When you go out searching for entities and spirits and whatnot, you know, you never know, you know, even if you just watch the paranormal shows, you know, there's always some truth to every story. And how many times have you seen these people on different shows talking about, oh, they were, you know, amateur paranormal investigators, whatever, they want to go out to these graveyards or whatever the case may be, and they have a really negative experience, and a lot of them have to get minor rites of exorcism and stuff done because these negative things will attach to you, and you're not going to like it when it happens.
And another thing, too, I mean, when you're talking about legitimate demonic entities, they see a group of people walking into a location where they have permission to wreak havoc on that location, and you're using your free will to get involved with that. This is what I like to call spiritual rules of engagement, because once you walk into that layer and you use that free will choice to get involved with it, they have permission to potentially come into your life and wreak havoc, and that's why it's so important to have a strong faith foundation. And again, a legitimate demonic entity, and there's a group of people that walk into a location that has something legitimately dark and demonic, they will look and target the person out of the group like a wounded fish in a school of fish. They know exactly who to go to, who has the most prone to be the best potential victim in their eyes, and they will go and latch onto them. I mean, if you have a dark history, if you have things that they can pull on those dark strings to affect you negatively and use it against you and all your loved ones around you, any part of your history, they're going to go right to you. And that's, once again, like anyone who has, you know, any sort of shady history or something, you're still getting over things. I mean, I would definitely not suggest getting the paranormal until you really get over those things and really read up on the scenarios that can happen, because these things it is no joke, like Dave said. And it's not just a scratch on an arm or getting something get thrown at you that night while you're on a location. You're talking about a lifetime of psychological attacks that they can come at you when you're not expecting it. And they can sit dormant and wait very patiently because there's no concept of time in the spirit realm. Once again, there's past, present, future, all the same thing. So you may give permission to a dark energy to mess with you, and they could sit and wait years and then come into your life when you have no idea that it has to do with anything with paranormal basically sit and push you along and push you right to the edge and emotionally break you down and make you want to hurt yourself or anyone that you care about all around you. So it's very deep, delicate, the type of things that can happen, and that's why it's very good to read up on things that can happen. And I did that pretty quickly because the dark things started to happen to me very quickly as well. Like once again, which I just told you briefly, my story when I threw holy water. You use religious provocation, any sort of provocation, it is an invitation still. So, and if you step in the way of evil as well, you're always going to be a target, and they're always looking for a way to break into your aura and break into your life again and do some sort of, chaotic, catastrophic, any sort of terrible situation they can make happen to you.
All right, we have first question from Little Dorrit. How can one tell if they are being oppressed?
Go ahead, Sean.
Well, I think a very important way of trying to find that out is if you're depressed about something, if you're angry about something, try to equate those emotions. Does it really make sense? Add it together. Should I really be this upset about something? Should I be this really angry about this? Because if it doesn't make sense and it's overtaking you so much, then you need to take a step back and be objective about those emotions, because that's what they can do. They can take something really tiny and blow it up, any sort of negative emotion, and make it to the point where it's unbearable, and it can push you to the edge.
And it gradually builds. It'll start out as really small things, and it'll get worse and worse, and you'll start noticing more and more negativity, more and more negative things going on in your life. And it's just compounding and compounding.
Yeah, and it's also dependent on the type of things that you may have gotten involved with. Is there anything you got involved with in the paranormal? Did you go to a haunted location? Did you move into a home where weird things are happening? There's a lot of different events that can lead up to some sort of oppression that's spiritually related. So there's a lot of things that need to be taken into account as well. But yeah, being objective about your emotions is really important. I've been oppressed before. I got myself out of it, but it also made me a lot stronger, and I realized exactly how these things work. And they will amplify any sort of negative emotion. They could blow anything up. That's why if you read about these types of things in homes and families just fighting over nothing, they're fighting over nothing and want to tear each other's throats out. That's the sort of thing that they do. And in the process, they're feeding off that. And when they feed off that, they're getting more energy from that. And with the more energy, they have more energy to manifest and continue the process and the stages that can ultimately lead to possession and someone getting hurt. It's very fascinating stuff too as well, but it's dangerous. But it's very good to know how the enemy works. It's the best way if you're going to get involved with the paranormal, if you decide to.
All right,
yes.
Next question from Woodland Goblin. Did they ever get the little boys' names?
I don't recall any names, specific names. We got some names, but I don't necessarily know if it was the little child spirits or not.
I have to go over my video on the streaming live that I did on my phone because Dave and I were in separate rooms, and sometimes he was filming where I wasn't filming. We were filming in two different places, and I've gotten some stuff as well. I'd really love to go back and go through it. Just very time consuming, but I definitely will go back because we were getting a lot of responses, and sometimes you miss things, and these little words come through on the spirit box that you might not have picked up the first time. But no, nothing specific about little kids' names.
And I do have more footage that I'm probably going to re-put that video out and have it more annotated and whatnot in the near future. But as of right now, nothing's annotated or not. But I'll probably go and add the other footage that Beast took on my other camera when you guys were in the basement and whatnot, and we'll put all that together eventually and put it out. So, but there's some crazy stuff on that live feed we did, and on Sean's Periscope he did as well.
Yeah.
All right, next question from Phil M. When scratched, does it feel like a burning sensation?
Mine did. Mine felt like a burning. Now, Phil described his as a pinch, didn't he, Sean? More of a pinch feeling.
more of a pinch feeling. My friend had been scratched on his stomach before, and he actually said it felt like a cramp. So I think there's different ways that a scratch can actually appear and what you could actually, what you end up feeling. It really just depends. There's a lot of
different times. And for me, every time it's happened to me, it was more of a burning, stinging sensation.
Yeah, me too. It's been burning.
But other people describe it in other ways. Some people say they got punched in the stomach and then they pick their shirt up and there's a giant scratch on them. So
yeah.
You never know what you're going to get doing this stuff.
So those kind of scratches that you get at that haunted locations, do you feel then that you will always know when you're getting scratched, or have you gone home and taken your shirt off and found scratches that you weren't aware of?
For me personally, every time I've been scratched, except for once, I felt it. There was a location here in West Virginia I did, and my cousin who was investigating with me at the time, he got scratched and he felt it. And then like an hour later, I didn't feel it, but another guy that was with us said, "Dude, look at your arm." And I had 3 scratches down inside of my forearm. I never felt it once. So, like I said, you just never know what you're going to get doing this stuff.
And that's another thing too.
Our good friend Weatherly, we were at a location and he got bit and he never felt the bite.
Oh, wow.
And he had bite marks on his leg the next day.
That's
Oh
crazy.
my God.
Well, that's another thing too. Like if you get scratched, you got to make sure you don't try to touch your body, because I've been scratched before too, and it felt like a burning, almost like itchy type feeling. So you don't want to like go and if you're at a haunted location, don't touch that area, because then it's hard to debunk it to know if you actually caused the scratch yourself. It's for me, it's mostly felt burns for sure.
Oh, Carrie, Dave, this is for you. Carrie Y. She wants to know, when is your book coming out?
It's going to be out in the next couple of weeks, guys, finally. It's in the final processes of editing, and I have no control over that, but I would say by the middle of the month it will be out, or sooner.
And let me tell you, you guys will absolutely, it is a must read. It is bone chilling. It is this, oh my God. Dave read me a couple of the chapters. I couldn't stand it. I said, "I want more, Dave. I want more." It deals
with what we were talking about earlier in the show, Noreen, that this stuff is no joke.
No.
And it talks about all the negative things that happened to me after this particular investigation for over a year.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to give people a warning in the sense that, be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. You're not going to like it when it happens. That's why I say that all the time on these shows, because, like Sean said, he was oppressed at one time, and I guess I would call it, I was oppressed as well with all the negative things that happened to me after this particular investigation. So, it's, take it for what it's worth from people who've been doing this quite a long time.
Yep. All right, another question from Joanne Dion. Question: the factory is the same. Is there something called the factory, or did she mean the rectory?
Probably the rectory.
Is it the same? The Ghost Ventures, that Ghost Adventures. Okay, her. All right, it's not a complete set. So Ghost Adventures went there, didn't they?
Yeah, there's been several different TV shows that have filmed there. I think High Collector was there, Ghost Adventure, several other ones. Someone, they were scratched on that show, as well. So,
yeah, they were. Sean, this is for you. Joanne Dion says hi to you.
Hello.
All right, another question from Coyote S. Sean, do you think the demon was... I never heard of this demon. Do you want me to say it or spell it out?
That's up to you.
Okay, I'll spell it to you. ADRAMELECH.
I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I think there was more than one demonic-like thing there. I picked up on the one, demon name that those kid spirits told me in the vision. I think there was more than one, because in my vision there was a donkey with red eyes, and also there was a black ostrich with red eyes as well. And what's actually interesting is because I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Rite with Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
And I think it's in the real book because it's about the priest. And in the movie, he actually was visited by a donkey with red eyes. I thought that was pretty interesting as well. I don't know. I think there was more than one demonic entity there because of the level of mockery to God in such a holy place that was once a rectory. There's definitely a swirl of evil stuff there. I believe there definitely could have been another demon there, and that name's sure, absolutely.
Isn't there a church attached to that rectory?
Yes.
Okay, Coyote wants to know, is the church haunted as well?
We never went in there.
We were not allowed in it.
Why weren't you allowed in there?
They don't let anyone investigate in there, apparently, from what I understand.
From what I read, they took everything out of the church, and I think the rectory that had anything to do with the Catholic religion, any crosses and things like that. Did you read that at all, or know any of that? Were you able?
You mean in the church or in the rectory?
In the church, and I think the rectory. They didn't want any signs of.
The rectory had crosses in it and whatnot, but we didn't.
Yeah.
Like I said, we didn't go in the church. So.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Let me go back. Kata Moon, please ask an estimate of how many children's spirits were detected there.
Well, I can't answer that, to be honest. We don't know for sure.
Well, the man, when he was screaming in my ear after I came home, he said that I took 3 of them from him. So, to me, it looks like there might have been 3. I mean, because I prayed for all those children's spirits while we were there, if there are any. And this man was screaming in my ear for weeks after I came home, saying that I took 3 children from him. So that's the only evidence I could, give you towards that notion.
I know I distinctly heard 2 different little boy voices on the ghost box too, but there could be more. They just weren't strong enough to come through, or whatever the case may be. You just never know. Never know what you're getting at.
All we can do is speculate and base it on our experiences, and just have an idea and a theory, really.
All right, this is from Tie-Dye Keith, our friend Tie-Dye Keith. What's Dave's best suggestion for someone who, in quotes, eventually gets it and needs help? Where do they turn?
Well, obviously they would turn to their whatever their spiritual belief system is and go get help, right away. And they have to want that help, for it to work, honestly. And some people get help, some don't,
All right, Shannon Campbell wants to know, and I think she's asking, just by thinking about demons, does that summon them?
No, it doesn't summon them, but, people do, obviously, acknowledgement is a very powerful thing, and that's why, after cleansing a house and stuff like that, it's, kind of good to let the family not to really acknowledge what was happening there, because you can bring it back in. But thinking about demons, briefly, I don't think it's going to do anything. It's really your intent. Us as investigators, we're walking into a location, our intent is to open ourselves to that world and get involved with it. Thinking about demons watching a show, I really don't think that's going to do anything. Your intent is just to think about the idea. Your intent is not getting involved with it, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So no, I don't think that's the case.
So then, even saying a demon's name is okay? You think that's okay just by saying a name? I know that I've had several people that dealt with demonology, and they will not say a demon's name.
Thinking it in your head rather than saying it out loud. The reason why they say not to say it out loud, because it's almost like you're calling out to it, like it's in the next room, come to me. So that I would suggest. But randomly thinking about it because, say, we're talking about it, I don't think you're going to experience anything, but I mean, yeah, if you're yelling out a demon's name in particular, I mean, they're playing spiritual Russian roulette with that. I mean, there's really no guarantee. It's like playing with the Ouija board. You could play the Ouija board once, 100 times, nothing could happen 99 times out of the 100, but on the 100th time, it could be the worst mistake of your life. Mm-hmm. And now, is that really worth the risk?
Okay.
You ask that question for yourself.
Another question from Catamoon. Please ask if they have some sort of spiritual regimen to protect themselves from attachments.
Yeah, I say 5 protection prayers a night on top of my normal, I'm Catholic, my Hail Marys, my Our Fathers. I have 2 blessed Saint Benedict coins in between my bed. I have my St. Michael pendant. I keep holy water on me. Anything holy. But most importantly, the holy water, all that stuff, it's not going to work unless you really believe in what you're praying to. I bring this up all the time. It's funny, but like a vampire movie, you could put a cross up in front of a vampire, and he'll take a step back, scared, and recoil for a second, but then he'll start laughing and say, you have to have faith. This goes the same for evil spirits, because if you literally saw an evil spirit standing in front of you, and you put that cross up in front of him, you have to literally believe in that cross that God is with you, and you're putting God in between you and that evil spirit, that God is more powerful than any evil spirit that can come at you and attack you. Knowing that and truly believing in that, then these things can't harm you the way they want to, because they will feed off your fear. They will feed on your doubt, and your doubt is a break in your aura, and that's how they can get in and use it against you in every way that they can.
Okay. We'll take a couple more questions. Teresa Browning, do they have success getting rid of demons by binding and rebuking in Jesus' name?
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Beat 3 Airspace wants to know, first part of the show, they said they were closing this place. And are they going to exercise this place? Well,
we only heard about it.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, that's what the word is. Don't know for sure. All I know is they supposedly stopped allowing paranormal investigators in September 10th of this year.
Okay. From Donna Gorton. Do they think that the sensation they feel are related to what gave them the mark?
You're talking about scratches?
I would think that's what she's talking about.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you feel something on a particular area of your body and then you look at it and you have a mark, that odds are that's what caused it.
I was on the phone with some girl who messed around with witchcraft a year ago, and she was being choked on the phone. I started to say a prayer for her, and as soon as I did that, I was laying right on this bed right here, and I felt burning in my arm. I have a picture of it. There's 13 slashes that showed up on my arm. So obviously, if I'm not paying attention and I'm looking at my arm, it's one thing if you have 1 or 2 slashes, you could scratch yourself. But I look at that picture and I'm just like, there's no way. It just looked like a cat was like doing this all over my arm. And well, I'm just holding in my arm like this and on my phone, and it just appeared on my arm. So I mean, it depends on what's going on around you, the scenario, the event that happened. I mean, you just got to base it on your personal, individual experience.
Okay. Hey, Starry Night. What is the question? What is the question that you want to ask? Can you type it in, and I'll ask right from the chat room. Type it in for me, please. Okay. Another question. Let's see. We have 2 more from Joyce Lynn. Oh, Dave, can we get your book on Amazon?
Yeah, it'll be out on Amazon. You'll be able to get it on Amazon. You'll be able to get it directly from me or David Weatherly, as well if you're ever in an area, we're at an event or whatever. And there'll be links on our websites and Facebook and everything else.
Okay. And one last question from Rose Tube. How sure are they How sure are you they were even children?
We're not.
Not, I mean, like I said before, I knew someone was going to question that. I can only speculate, but to have a man screaming in my ear saying you took the children away from me, 3 of them for weeks on after that, I mean, what would be the motivation of that? I mean, to me, that's just strange. But I still can't definitively say those were children. But on my experiences, you know, it leans towards that for me personally. I can't say definitively, but it seems for whatever the reason it may have been. I hope it was, but my intent was to help any innocent children's spirits to cross over if they were in there, and that's what I did. I prayed for them. I got evidence that it did help them while we were there and later on, and that's all I can do. I mean, you know, all we can do is speculate and base it on our individual experience.
All right. Okay, so we're not taking any more questions. Starry, if you want to post your question, I'd be happy to ask them. That will be the last question. If you want to put it in chat now in big caps. Okay, anything else, Sean and Dave, you want to add to tonight's show?
No, just thanks for all your guys' support and watching our stuff. You know, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, guys. Sean, and David are going to be live at some awesome locations this weekend, and we'll be taking part in the world's largest ghost hunt. There's over 70 teams worldwide that are going to be live streaming at whatever location they're at to Scarefest, and they'll have a big room in there where they'll be playing all the different live feeds, and it's going to be a lot of fun, something totally different, you know, unique, and it's for National Ghost Hunting Day. And a good friend of mine, Geister Maria Pond Smith, is putting all this on. There's some sponsorship or stuff going on supposedly with Destination America on it. It's a really big thing. It's really cool, and you can jump over to our channel. My channel is I have 2. I have Real Supernatural. Then me, David, and Sean will be streaming live on Society of the Supernatural this weekend. And we have a ton of stuff coming up for you guys this October. We're doing a week-long thing, the week of Halloween at various locations. I think 6 locations in 7 days, guys. We'll be live all over the place. Yeah, and different states too. So it's gonna be hectic. It's gonna be awesome, and you guys should be blown away by it.
Sean, what about you? What are you up to?
Well, I'm joining Dave on what I like to call Casper Appreciation Month, October, on a bunch of crazy locations. And my new single, How I Want You So Bad, I'm also a pop rock alternative singer, is out right now. You can download on iTunes, and trying to get that song out there. And those are my 2 passions, the paranormal and my music too. And I'm trying to get my book done as well, my first book, which I hope to get released next year sometime as well.
Oh, awesome. Well,
there'll be a lot of prizes coming up with us and Sean, me, David, and Sean. You guys will see soon enough.
Awesome. Hey, you know what? I wish the both of you the best of luck and everything that you do. I'm sure you'll be back on the show again in the near future. Dave, can't wait for your book to come out. I'm so excited. I can't stand it. And Sean, get your book done, Sean, so I can have you on the show and you can talk about your book. So have a wonderful time next weekend. Everybody.
This weekend, guys.
Oh, this weekend. That's right. I can't believe it's Thursday. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you on my show. Thanks, guys.
No problem. Anytime.
Thank you.
Give us a shout out anytime you want us.
Thanks, honey. All right, thanks. Good night.
Bye, Noreen. Good night.
Thank you. Wow. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Sorry for the technical issues. It's what happens when you do a live show. It's always live. There's no pre-records here. Thanks, everyone. We had a nice crowd tonight. It was a pleasure to have everybody here. I want to thank my mods. I know Royce is here. And are we missing Sweet Annie, Unique Annie, and Crystal tonight? Yeah, everybody, thanks, Royce. Please subscribe and please give the show a like. Oh, there's Dave. Royce, honey, are you the only mod tonight in the show? Well, Royce, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you mod my show. Oh, there's Crystal. Hey, Crystal. Thank you so much as well. Give a clap to my mods. Anyway, I want to do some shout outs, and again, thank you so much for being here, everyone. Hey, you know what? Okay, let me tell you. Okay, so for next Thursday, I actually considered tonight's show as part of my Halloween October because it's the 29th. But next Thursday, Mark G. Hewitt, we're going to do a show on the Zodiac. He's written a trilogy on the Zodiac. And the first one is the Zodiac, hunting the Zodiac serial killer. And then he will return for the other 2 episodes as well. But we're going to do a trilogy. But he will be on next Thursday for his first show, Hunting the Zodiac. It's going to be really good. On the 13th, I have Kalela Smith. She is a tour guide in Louisiana in the French Quarter. And we will be talking about voodoo and phantoms, the hauntings in the French Quarter. So I'm excited about that. And then on the 20th, Vanessa Hogel is coming back. She is a remote viewer. We are going to do unsolved mysteries, murders that happened on Halloween. And she's going to remote view and try and solve these cases. So that should be a fun show as well. And I don't have anybody yet for the 27th. I'm trying to find something really good for the 27th. So everybody, thanks again. How about I do some shout outs? Okay, so Kat Moon, Chipateri, Loop. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Lupe Cortez, Semina Semicat, Starry Night, Neon Penguin, April Fagan, Lully Tooby, Royce Hinman, my mod, Andrew Cox, Crystal, Summer Sims, Winter Sky, One Upstage. Yeah, Vanessa's great. Carl White. Oh, hi, Carl. Janice Bolt. Oh, whoops. Oh, I lost it. Starry Night. Rue's Tube. Oh, Roulette. I thought that was you. Hi, Rue. I haven't seen you in a long time. Thanks for joining the show tonight with us. Phil M. Susan Graziano, nice Italian. Shannon Campbell, BCH Bonds. Tracy Boyning. Whoops. Hold on. Mama Joe Buffalo. No, Mama Joe, I have not heard from Jimmy. He has not been on his Facebook page. I don't know what happened to Jimmy, and that's not good. That's a bad sign. Do you guys remember Jimmy Cortez? If you think about him, and if you can, please say a prayer for Jimmy, because I don't know what happened to him. He had cancer, and I haven't heard from him in months. Oh, God. Anybody else want to shout out? Semina Semicat, I think I said. Carrie Y. Anybody else? We still have over 100 people in the chat and watching. Anybody else? Little Dorrit. Yeah. Anybody else want to shout out? Oh, what happened? That's weird. Real Psychic. Ange, Dawn. Yeah, Royce, I don't know. Oh, okay, Mama Joe, let us know, huh? Hey, don't forget to give my show a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Elaine Michael, Miller, Chris Fry. Hi, Chris. Crystal Blackheart, Cosmetic Chaos. Don't forget, if you want to sign up for show reminders, go to Paranormal Zone. Hi, Donna Gorton. You can get a Coyote S. You can get you can get show reminders at ParanormalZone.tv and go to the little tag that says, I think it says show reminders on it, and send me your email, The Unseen Scene, and then I can send out, oh thanks Chris, then I can send out reminders to you. Melody A. Robinson, Crystal Blackheart, yay. Anybody else want to shout out? There's still, gosh, it keeps going up. Anybody else want to shout out? Okay, everybody, my weekend starts tomorrow. Group hug, everybody in chat, group hug. One upstage. Is that Tammy? Shannon Campbell. Okay, did I give everybody a shout out that wanted one? Yes, April Fagan, I did, honey. I said you. Countess Annie. Dean Leland. Joyce Lynn. Okay, Ro. Yeah, my weekend starts tomorrow. I love my weekends. Okay, everybody, I'm going to say goodnight. Don't forget to join the show next Thursday. I hope you enjoy it. I love the Zodiac. I love that topic. And Mark is an expert on the Zodiac. He puts out a periodical 4 times a year called Radians and Inches, and it's all dedicated to the Zodiac Killer. And he is the expert on the Zodiac Killer. I interviewed him, oh God, in 2012 when I was on another network, and that show doesn't belong to me, so I can't get it back. So I will just do another one, Charmy Vapes. All right, so I'm gonna go. Have a wonderful weekend. It's already October. Can you believe it? Going into our Halloween mode, and my God, soon this year will be over with. The holidays are coming up. October's my favorite month. And anyway, have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much. I hope those who are new to the show that you'll continue to join us on on Thursday nights. I'm going to do a couple of Monday night shows. I have somebody I'm going to talk to that wants to tell their demonic story, haunting story, and it also involves an exorcism. I guess it didn't work. And I'm going to interview him and possibly have him come on one of the Mondays in October. So everybody, thank you so much. I love you guys. Group hug, and have a wonderful weekend, okay? Thank you so much. Good night.